Hello, dear friends. Although the American continent has many problems at present day, know, my fellow Americans, that you will be the world leaders of the future because of this wonderful change. Opinion piece. The Americas are awakening. The Andes, the new Tibet. Chile, the new home of Kundalini. This change occurs every 13,000 years. It appeared for the first time in the Elki Valley. Lake Titicaca is the feminine pole of the planet. It affects especially Chile, Argentina, Bolivia and Peru. Hundreds of indigenous tribes guided this energy back home. When this energy moves, the earth trembles and volcanoes are activated. Let's start. For some years now, the Kundalini energy of Mother Earth has returned to its original place in the Andes Mountains, which is the backbone of the planet Earth. Not only will there be a shift of spiritual power from man to woman, but also the transfer of spiritual power from Tibet and India to South America, mainly to Argentina, Bolivia, Chile and Peru. When the Kundalini left Tibet, the Chinese invaders entered, enslaved the Tibetans and destroyed a millenary culture with the so-called Cultural Revolution of Mao Zedong. What happened is that after the fall of consciousness of Atlantis, the Kundalini energy, so powerful for the planet, took refuge in the Himalayas under the custody of the City of Light, Shambhala. When we entered the photon belt, Mother Gaia opened that gate where the Kundalini energy was stored and returned to its place of origin. In the human body, Kundalini energy is visualized as a coiled serpent coiled in a spiral and dormant at the base of the spine, and is associated with the divine feminine energy. When this energy is cultivated and awakened throughout spiritual practice, it leads to the liberation of the self. It is often reported that the experience of Kundalini is a distinct sensation of electric current running down the spine. When the Kundalini is awakened, consciousness emerges. Earth Kundalini has two poles. One is at the exact center of the Earth, and the other is located anywhere on the surface of the Earth. It is the Earth's own consciousness that decides where it will be located. Chile and Peru. According to Drumbalo Melchizedek, hundreds of indigenous tribes and culture have secretly helped guide this spiritual energy from Tibet to its new home in South America. It left Tibet for India, then moved like a serpent of light throughout almost every country in the world until it reached Chile, the new home of the Kundalini of the Earth, the new Tibet. The first place where this white snake of light showed its head was the Elki Valley in Chile. There are many thousands of people, mostly indigenous, who have been led to deep inner guidance from 1949 to the present to help bring this untamed white serpent to its new location high in the Andes in Chile, where it now finally resides. It's not only a shift of spiritual power from the masculine to the feminine, but also a shift of spiritual power from Tibet and India to Chile and Peru. The nurturing and expansion of the light of the world throughout the Tibetan and Indo cultures has been completed. A new kingdom has just begun in Chile and Peru and will soon affect the hearts of all humankind. Spiritual enlightenment. According to Drumbalo Melchizedek, it's this energy that is bringing forth spiritual seekers all over the planet, not only in the ashrams or spiritual communities and monasteries of the world, but also in ordinary life, in ordinary people who in their own way are also searching for God. The Kundalini of Earth is the secret energy that is connected to the hearts of all humankind. What has happened in the world along the path that Earth Kundalini has taken is almost unbelievable. People from different cultures and countries all cooperating together as if coordinated by a higher power simply for the sake of human life. And without this spiritual assistance, I believe humanity would be unable to evolve to the next level of consciousness, crucial to our very survival. To the few who know of this event and what is happening around us, a wisdom is transferred and the state of inner peace becomes their inheritance, because they know the extraordinary truth. In the midst of the chaos, war, famine, plagues, environmental crisis, and moral breakdown that we are all experiencing here on Earth today, at the end of this cycle, they understand the transition and are fearless. This fearless state is the secret key to the transformation that, for millions of years, has always followed this sacred cosmic event. On one level, this means that spirituality, the feminine, will now have her turn to let humanity into the new light, and eventually this feminine spiritual light will permeate the entire range of human experience, from female leaders in business and religion to female heads of state. During 2012 and 2013, this feminine spiritual light was so strong that it will be obvious to all inhabitants of this beloved planet and will continue to grow for thousands of years. Different revelations and books are talking about the energy of the earth, are talking about that the energy of the earth is moving from the Himalaya mountains to the Andes mountains, transforming it into the new point of maximum energy of the planet. Perhaps this explains many things that are happening on our planet today. Spiritual masters, including the Dalai Lama, are now referring to the Andes as the new spiritual center of the earth. The axis of spiritual power that left Tibet in 1959 is settling in the Andes, with its power center at Lake Titicaca, the feminine pole of our planet. These movements will last perhaps even for hundreds of years, since the times of the earth are not the times of men, nor those of the galaxy. Formerly, it had its home in Mu and Lemuria, then in Atlantis, and in the last 2000 years it was in Tibet, this place being the spiritual pole of the planet. Later, it moved to India and continued its movement to its new home in the heights of the Andes in northern Chile and southern Peru. This will mark an awakening in the people located in the vicinity of the new epicenter of energy rest, and sends a frequency to the electromagnetic network surrounding the planet. Every 13,000 years in the Earth, in this inner energetic power makes a change. Until now, many people have felt the call or the need to go to Tibet, to the Himalayas. That was because that inner energetic power of Earth, the Kundalini of the Earth, was there in the Himalayas, but since a few years ago it has been moving to South America, specifically to the Andes in Chile, Peru, and other nearby countries. The Andes mountain range runs throughout the entire southern part of America, dives under the depths of the water, and resurfaces in Antarctica. Let us remember that Antarctica is the great planetary brain, From Antarctica emerged the memories for the healing of Lemuria and Atlantis. The Kundalini energy is producing the momentum for that healing. That energy has to go up and go all over the continent. But also the other continents participate because there are vortices that connect with this energy grid. The rise of Kundalini that is happening in these times is important because it will generate the acceleration of the healing of memories and collective archetypes that the human being is holding, so that this cycle opens and becomes spiral and we can generate the quantum leap. Trip to the Andes. When in previous years the Kundalini energy moved from the Himalayas to the Andes mountains, it began to generate very important awakening in consciousness, especially in the countries of the Southern Cone. Then the Southern Cone began to hold an archetype that is represented by a priestess. It is a feminine energy that in her connection with Mother Earth allowed herself to heal herself enough to self-balance and begin to awaken. The priestess is taking her own power, empowering herself throughout her feminine energy. This healing occurred first in the feminine energy with the priestess in the Southern Cone. Where Mother Kundalini moves, the volcanoes erupt and the earth trembles. We have seen in the south of the planet, more precisely between Chile and Argentina, energetic symptoms of change, floods in desert areas, awakening volcanoes, tremors, ancient forest fire. There have also been tremors in Ecuador, Mexico, and some areas of the fire belt of Pacific. All these events are connected with landslides and earthquakes in Nepal and the Himalayas. Male archetype. For their part, in Central and North America, they are holding the masculine archetype, represented by the wounded warrior. It is a masculine energy that is so wounded that it has taken refuge in its own pride, so it is not allowing itself to him. It is not opening himself to the possibility of being healed. This warrior needs to overcome his own pride to be able to receive the help of the priestess, to be able to get up and walk together. This struggle of archetypes is happening with each one of us. Our soul is waiting to awaken our natural wisdom, but most of the time we listen more to the ego, which is the wounded warrior. The ego lives by feeding on its fears. Some time ago, it was channeled that we had to go to Colombia, where solar disk was located in Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, to be supported and guided by an etheric city of light, which is a golden city representing the wisdom of the soul. That wisdom is only reached when we give ourselves the permission to face our deepest demons and fears, to face our shadows and embrace them with unconditional love, to walk throughout our shadows, to embrace our own light. At that moment, the Kundalini energy was able to enter the southern part of Mexico. For that reason, there was a series of earthquakes. The Kundalini entered and began to rise. Connection. The modern human being forgot his connection with Mother Earth and his intimate communion with all life on her. If we flow with change instead of resisting it, we will be able not only to anticipate and prevent events that may be chaotic, but also to help the Earth as we are being transformed and adapting to the new. Our planet is changing, and the entire galaxy is undergoing an initiatory leap. We can live this moment as the greatest in history, with joy and gladness in our hearts, at the possibility of creating a harmonious planet in a high frequency, or be filled with fear for what is to come and anguish for waiting to hold on to the old that is dissolving. All who are sensitive enough to this energy field will slowly notice that seeds of great beauty, truth and goodness are blossoming within their hearts. All who love their fellow man, all who truly work for the unity of humankind, who truly strive beyond their physical satisfactions to reach out and touch this energy field, will imprint upon the visions, ideas and goals of a new age. Heat wave. That's the end of this item. Now, short news. Heat wave. The Lucifer anticyclone in Spain lifts record temperatures of up to 47 degrees Celsius. This week in Italy was measured that could be the highest temperature in the history of Europe. Several cities in southern Spain are experiencing an extreme heat wave with temperature that almost reached record highs. This August 14th, the town of Montoro in Andalusia showed the highest record on record in the country, 47.2 degrees, followed by 46.9 degrees in Córdoba. Very close to the 47.3 also reached Montoro in 2017. Authorities issued high temperature warnings for 45 Spanish provinces. In particular, red warnings were issued in Córdoba, Huelva, Seville, Valencia and Zaragoza, among others. The heat is intense in Spain. Most of the country has experienced a scorching Saturday with maximum temperatures of up to 46 degrees Celsius, approaching record highs in places like Córdoba. 8 provinces are on red alert. In Italy, the Lucifer heat wave continues to lash out into its infernal temperatures. Tourists are suffering in Rome, although here the thermometers are far from the all-time high of 48.8 degrees reached on Wednesday in Sicily. Events. Methane tanker explosion in Lebanon. At least 20 people have died after the explosion of a methane tanker in northwestern Lebanon, which left 100 people injured. Truck explosion in Karachi, Pakistan. At least 13 people were killed and several more injured in a mini-truck explosion in the southern Pakistan city of Karachi, following a hand grenade attack. Overnight earthquake of magnitude 5.8 shakes Haiti. An earthquake of magnitude 5.8 struck overnight in Haiti, where a 7.2 magnitude quake in the morning hours left more than 300 people dead and caused extensive material damage. At least 304 dead and more than 1,800 injured in Haiti's devastating earthquake. The death toll from Saturday's devastating earthquake in Haiti has risen to at least 304. Hundreds more are injured or missing, and several cities in the island nation are in ruins. Ivory Coast declares Ebola outbreak. The West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire declared an outbreak of the Ebola virus after detecting the country's first case in more than 2 decades, and it sounded the alarm about its possible spread. Torrential rain lashes Japan. Torrential rain lashes much of Japan on Sunday, submerging roads and buildings in the western part of the country, while 3 people were feared dead after a landslide in central Nagano prefecture. Japan issues highest emergency alert for more than 1 million people as heavy rains like never before trigger evacuations. Japan's Weather Service has put 3 prefectures and the city of Hiroshima on the highest possible emergency alert, meaning it is too late to evacuate elsewhere as torrential rains trigger flooding and landslides. Kabul falls to Taliban. Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, is already literally filling up with thousands of Taliban fighters as US embassy staff continue to burn documents in preparation for evacuation. The fall of Kabul is the most significant failure of the US military and intelligence since the fall of Saigon, Vietnam. Thousands surrender to Taliban or flee to Iran. The rapid disintegration of the Afghan armed forces after 20 years of US presence and hundreds of billions of dollars in training and equipment has a global impact. The Afghan army hands over thousands of the Taliban. Mass executions continue. 400 soldiers surrendered to the Taliban. The governor of Kandahar and other government officials surrendered to the Taliban. Yesterday, only 4,000 soldiers and officers of the 205th and 5th Afghan Army Corps surrendered to 3,000 Taliban who occupied Kandahar airport. Taliban 11 kilometers from Kabul. No, this is delayed. This is ancient. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.